Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Bible webinar series for achieving success on campus involvement and cultural adjustment. Now let's do some introductions. So my name is Shu Hui Lin, but I go by Lin by my last name. I'm the coordinator for International Student Support Engagement.
Hello, my name is Brandon Paulson, and I'm a senior advisor for International Student Scholar Services.
My name is Andrea Siebenman, and I am ISS's advisor, and I'm a webinar moderator as well.
I'm Emily Gomal. I'm one of the current international student panelists.
Hi, I'm Kenneth Mende. I'm a senior, also an international student from Germany.
My name is Mishma, and I'm an international student from Sri Lanka, and I'm a student panelist.
Great. So today's goals, so we are going to talk a little bit about the Pick One involvement opportunities and then understand how involvement supports cultural adjustment and enhances undergrad experiences. And then, like you just heard from the introduction, we will have some of our current international students share their involvement experience, and then we will have a little bit of time for question and answer at the end. So as a University of Iowa student, you become part of the Hawkeye family. Students and alumni transformed by the experiences at Iowa. The university asks you to follow their example and rise to the challenge of these 5 expectations: excel, stretch, engage, choose, and serve. You will hear more about the Iowa challenge as you are getting to campus, but today we will focus on the engage part of the Iowa challenge.
What matters in college? You'll be adjusting to a new culture, whether you're arriving for the first time in the US or whether you're transferring from another US institution. Research shows that you'll be a more successful student and enjoy yourself more if you spend your time and energy on activities that matter. As some of our current students will probably tell you, you will learn and grow from your involvement experience. You'll be able to meet some lifelong friends. You'll have a better you'll better learn and understand yourself and your passion, and you'll have the opportunity to apply what you learn in the classroom into practicing your involvement. Involvement on campus can help with your cultural adjustment and transition to college. You'll learn and grow from your involvement experience, and again, better understand yourself and your passions. So there'll be definitely some challenges as well as many resources to help support you here at the University of Iowa. One of the things we'd like to introduce is the 5 R's of culture change model, which talks about the 5 different R's that actually will change when you go to a new culture. So those R's are roles, routines, relationships, reactions, and reflections about yourself. After coming to the University of Iowa, many will take on new roles such as student leaders and cultural ambassador. You'll be adjusting to new routines because of the new academic structure. You'll make new friends and build relationships through your involvement on campus. You may react to the new or weird or good or bad things that happen, and you'll be challenged to reflect on who you are and what you value and how you learn from your experience. The University of Iowa offers almost limitless opportunities and resources to help you become a leader in and out of the classroom. Take advantage of them.
Because we value and encourage students' involvement, the Pick One program was created specifically to encourage first-year students to pick at least 1 out of the 9 categories to get involved in. We will talk about the category one by one. After introducing each Pick One category, we will have our panelists share their involvement experience and how those related to cultural adjustment. There will be information on the slide highlighting the connections, how involvement can help with the cultural adjustment using the 5 R's of culture change model. So first of all, the performing arts. Performing arts is one important category for involvement at Iowa. There are a lot of student organizations related to performing arts. There are ensembles, auditions for orchestra, band, choral, jazz, chamber, and percussions. The dance department also have opportunities if you are interested in dancing. You can also participate in organizations that bring entertainment such as band, comedians, movies, or other type of entertainments to campus. Hencher is an auditorium on campus, also brings in well-known artists around the world for performance. Emily and Mishma, can you share a little bit about your experience?
Sure. I'm an English and Creative Writing and Dance double major, and even though I'm a freshman, I've been involved in 6 performances already this year, in my freshman year, not counting one that I've already been cast in for the upcoming academic year of 2019 to 2020. 3 of my dance productions, they were in collaboration with other departments. One was with the theater department, one was with the School of Music, and one was with the engineering department. So if you were to get involved, it wouldn't just be exclusive to like one department. You can get involved with a multitude of departments and cater your interests accordingly. The performing arts are like a huge deal here at the University of Iowa. There are over 400 productions put on every year, and you don't have to be a major or a minor to be involved in the performing arts. For example, the collaborative performance, one of the dance performances that I was involved in, was not exclusive to the dance department. We had like a student from, I think she was a biology student who was involved in it. And then there are also clubs for it. There's the UI Dance Club, there's Ballet Club, there's UI Breakers, there's Iowa Andi, and that's only the dance ones. So those are like so many performing arts opportunities. You just have to go out and audition.
There's also a lot of opportunities on the event planning side of performing arts. So if you're not someone who wants to perform, you can always be the one putting on those events. So there's a lot of organizations that put a lot of late night programming. I'm part of the campus activities board. So we play movies every weekend, and we do a lot of nighttime events. We bring stand-up comedians. We put on a lot of cultural events. So you can also be in a lot of organizations that are on the event planning side of it. And I am an English and Creative Writing and Cinema major. And one of my favorite things about the universities here is also the film programming. So there's the Biju board, which is an organization that brings like very unique films to campus, and they partner with Film Scene, who's an independent film theater who is in downtown Iowa City. So no matter what your major is, or even if that's your major or not, you can always be part of performing arts, whether it's on the performing side of it or the planning side of it.
Academics and honors. The University of Iowa curriculum is largely based on a liberal arts curriculum, which provides the breadth of education. Therefore, participating in academic and honors related activities is definitely a way to deepen what you've learned in the classroom. There are a broad range of student organizations related to academics. There are also organizations and honor societies within your college. There are a lot of activities within the University of Iowa Honors Program. You can do research or study abroad as an undergraduate student. There are staff positions in academic program offices that you can get involved in, such as honors peer advisor, engineering peer advisor, and more. I'd like to hear from Emily if you can share more about academics and honors.
Sure. I'm an honors student, and I really enjoy taking honor classes with other honors students because we all care about our studies. Not to say like students who aren't in honors don't care, but we tend to like be more concerned about our grades, and therefore we get more involved in the classes, which makes like discussions obviously more interesting. Besides that, I've also been involved in like courses that I didn't originally think that I would be interested in. So for example, in my first semester, I was involved in the honors green room, which involves helping host a speaker from anywhere really, and we set up the experience, and it was in the Englet Theater, and I never thought I would be involved in something like that, but I really enjoyed it. And I really think it's a good way to get yourself involved in something that you might not necessarily always be involved in.
Yeah, and I think in my opinion, honors classes really provides you a lot of opportunities as well. You have really great chances to connect with professors. And there are a few classes that I have taken actually is with the professor himself or herself. And you make really great connections in those like discussion sessions, that's what we call. They are like smaller sessions other than the bigger lectures, and it really provides you a closer chance to get connected with your instructors or professors. And I really had fun with a lot of my honors classes, and there are like a lot of opportunities to get involved.
So next is on-campus employment. There are many jobs available on campus with various departments, such as the Recreation Services, Iowa Memorial Union, University Housing and Dining, and International Student Scholar Services, and so on. You can work up to 20 hours per week on campus as an international student. You can apply for those positions from an online system called Highhawk. Any of you want to share your on-campus employment experiences?
I'm teaching ballet for the University of Iowa Youth Ballet. I both teach and assistant teach, and it was really interesting the way I got myself involved. Like originally I hadn't thought I was going to be working on campus, but I ended up doing it because it was a job that I wanted to do as opposed to a job that just gives me money. Because if you want a job that just gives you money, there are other jobs that pay better, namely like driving the buses, that pays a lot, or being an RA, that pays really, really a lot, which Mia can testify to. But I would just choose a job that you want because then you'll enjoy it more. And personally, I now have a great connection with the students I teach. When they heard that I wouldn't be like with them over the summer, they were like, "Oh, Emily," and then they came and gave me hugs, which was really nice.
That is definitely very nice. Yeah, and I can share a little bit as an RA too, because I have been working as a resident assistant for 2 years now. I lived in the honors house. It's called DOM, and it's one of the smaller residence halls on campus. I really enjoyed my experience living on campus my first year, and then I decided to become a resident assistant my second year, and now I'm in my junior year, and I still work as a resident assistant in DOM. And it's really, in my opinion, I really love my job, and I really think it's a really wonderful position, not only in terms of like how much you paid, but also like Emily has said, it's more like a personal impact, because you really make great connections with your residents or like first year students, most of them are, and then you organize events for them, and you help answering their questions or provide different resources. So that's really helpful, especially when like first year students come to campus. It's really an opportunity for me to help them to like make sure their transition goes smoothly to college. So I really enjoy that job position, and I know there are like many other job positions on campus, especially as international students. You get to work for the university, and the university is so big and has so many departments, and they really offer different internships or part-time jobs.
I would also say that it is fairly very easy to find a job, and it's very easy to find a job that you like. Hirehawk, that's the website that you'll find a lot of job opportunities at. It's actually very user-friendly, and the Career Center also works with you very closely in terms of building your resume. So even though it's just an on-campus job, afterwards it also helps you to how to apply and interview for other jobs in the future as well. I currently, this semester, I worked at the Admissions Visitors Center. So when you do arrive on campus, you will see that place. It's in the Pomerantz Center, and my job was to give info session presentations to like admitted students who visit campus, and it's something that I really enjoyed because it also gave me more knowledge about the university, because I had to give these presentations about the university and talk to prospective students about it, and it was something I really enjoyed. And next semester I would be working at the Honors Center, so that's also something that I'm very excited about.
Intramurals in sports clubs is another way to not just get involved, but be active. There are over 35 intramural programs on campus. You can sign up with friends or be a free agent, and the fee is the same for all sports. There's also over 40 sports clubs. You can learn more about intramurals and sports clubs from the Recreational Services website before you arrive on campus. Kenneth, can you share with us some of your experience?
Sure. If you're interested in sports at all, there is a sport for you on campus, I'm sure. I know there is the 35 intramural programs and 40 sports clubs. I myself have been playing volleyball this season. The season means this semester. And I've had a whole lot of fun with it. It was a group of 6 of us who got together pretty spontaneously and decided to join this intramural league. And the way it works is most of the time on the weekend in the evening hours, you have 1 or 2 games depending on the sport you sign up for. And you just spend an hour or so with friends, get to meet the refs, get to meet other people. And if you don't have a group of friends yet, as Brandon has mentioned, you can sign up as a free agent. What that means is you just pay the registration fee, which is, I think, $25 per semester. And you just sign up, and then teams who are looking for other teammates or players on their team can pick you up and have them on your team or on their team, and you get to meet other people that way as well. I thought it was a really good way to get involved because, again, if you want to be active, it kind of gives you a time slot in your week that is going to be busy one way or another to just get together with friends and have some fun with them. And again, there is a broad variety of intramural sports. You can see there is a biking club, there is intramural soccer teams. I played volleyball, there is spike ball, there is flag football, there is pretty much every sport you can think of. There is an intramural team or a sport club on campus.
So next is multicultural activities. Coming to Iowa, you have the opportunity to learn from students who are coming from all around the world, also from different cultures within the US. There are over 100 multicultural student organizations on campus. For culture and resource centers provide a home away. Resource Center provide a home away from home for students. Annual events such as the Martin Luther King Day of Service, Powwow, Black Student Union Talent Show, Multicultural Showcase, and the Cultural Heritage Celebration Month celebrates the cultural diversity within the University of Iowa. There are also training programs such as the Bridging Domestic and Global Diversity for student leaders who want to learn more about working with students from different backgrounds. Can you share a little bit about your experience?
So I earlier mentioned that I was part of the Campus Activities Board, and I'm the cultural director of the Campus Activities Board. So most of the things that I put on, the events that I put on are very cultural related. One of my favorite things that I worked on this semester was called Taste of Asia. It was a big event of just a celebration of Asian food from very different countries and different regions. And I really enjoy the cultural events on campus because it really represents the really diverse community here. I'm also part of the South Asian Student Alliance, and that also just tells you that there is a lot of organization based on different communities on campus as well. So you can always find that one community or that one right fit that's for you if that's something that you want to find. And there's also a lot of orgs that are not very culturally specific, but still put on a lot of cultural events. So you can always go for them as well. And I really work, because of my position as a cultural director, I have really worked very closely with the cultural and resource centers. I would say that they're very welcoming. You're always welcome to go there, and it's a community that you'll be able to build. And I know being an international student, it might be a bit hard to come here and feel like you're not in touch with your home country back home or your culture back home, but you can always find the people here, and you can always find the right events and the right opportunities to be part of your culture once again.
Yeah, and I personally really enjoy attending different cultural events as well. And on campus, they host different events for different festivals or celebrations from different cultures. And I really enjoy just attending those celebrations either from other culture or just like go with some friends to like celebrations from my own culture. And also I want to share a little bit about like Martin Luther King Day. I know they do like the day of service at the university. And I really have had a really great time participating in those service activities and making like those small reading kits for kids. So like they can help them read better, and it can help them like go through vocabularies and things like that. So you get to meet wonderful people doing those activities. So it's not just like a cultural or like a multicultural activities, but it's also about like your contribution. You can volunteer doing those events as well.
Fraternities and sororities is another way to get involved on campus. Fraternities and sororities life at Iowa celebrates over 150 years of history and brings people together on the basis of scholarship, friendship, service, and leadership. As of this spring semester, there are 49 fraternity and sorority chapters at Iowa and over 3,500 members in the fraternity sorority community.
Student organizations. We have mentioned student organizations quite a bit in the webinars already. There are over 550 registered student organizations on campus, ranging from all kinds of themes. You can also participate in hall associations, which are the positions within the residence hall if you are staying in the residence halls to provide input on the experience within the residence halls. Mishma, can you share a little bit about your experience?
Yes, like Len just mentioned, there is a lot of different student orgs, and I like to say that there's a student org for people of every kind of interest. So if academic related student orgs is something that you want to be in, that there's so many of them, there's something for almost every major. Since I mentioned the cinema related org, like I'm an English and creative writing major as well, and there's a lot of publications that can be involved with, and there's very academic major specific orgs that that are on campus as well. And we also talked about the multicultural events, and there's also a lot of service related organizations. I myself volunteered with the Iowa Youth Writing Project. It's an organization that teaches students, public school kids from Iowa City, creative writing, and it was a really fulfilling experience, and there's a lot of volunteering opportunities if service is something that you're interested in as well. And I'm also involved with the Homecoming Council, and that organization is all about putting on the Homecoming Week, which would be a very big tradition or a celebration of the university. And I would also like to say that it's also very easy to get a leadership position even as a freshman, because I'm a freshman and I've already had leadership positions in almost all of my student organizations. So don't be hesitant to apply, don't be hesitant to go forward and try out for leadership positions, because they're always available even though you're a freshman.
Yeah, and I think it depends on your majors and interest of studies. You can also get involved with like very major specific organizations. Like I'm involved in the Multicultural Business Student Association, and we just took a trip to New York City actually this past spring break, and it's really good networking opportunities, and we get to visit different companies and really have that professional development perspective.
Leadership and strengths is another aspect of involvement. The Be Better initiative at Iowa helps undergraduate students to develop as students, leaders, citizens, and employees by supporting undergraduate students to develop, by supporting their personal pathway to leadership and success in and out of the classroom. You will also have the opportunity to take additional academic courses on leadership if you're interested in those. In addition to academic courses, there are workshops, retreats, institutes such as Leadership Iowa, and strengths-based workshops that students can attend. Kenneth and Mia, I know that you both have experiences in this area. Do you mind sharing more about your leadership experience?
Sure, I can go first on this one. I am on the swim team here in Iowa, and I have had different leadership positions within the swim team throughout the years. This year, probably the most leadership I've had, because I got involved with the so-called ISAC, which is short for Iowa Student Athletic Advisory Council. And so through that, we have put on different events for the athletics department, have helped put on their annual award show, I've had different involvement with the student government here in Iowa, and it's a great opportunity to get to know yourself, get to know how to represent a team, get to experience how to be the linkage between the coaches in my case and the team on the other end. So I represented our team and helped communicate with the coaches, with the administrative staff, and got a lot of good experience and good contacts through that.
Yeah, and for my part, I actually participated in the leadership program here in Iowa, and it's like a 7-day experience, and you get together. It's almost like a small retreat. So you go to a different place somewhere in Iowa, and you spend a week with those people who are inspired to become leaders and who really have a vision and who wants to share with everyone. So it's a really inspiring experience, and you get to discover yourself, like what are you really passionate about, and how can you potentially put your passion into something that is bigger. For example, like the Dance Marathon initiative. So the funders of Dance Marathon, which is a really big student organization on campus here, and they fundraise for the hospital, for the children's hospital. They have done truly amazing things, but the funder of Dance Marathon was actually a part of leadership. So I think it was just a very inspiring experience to be able to fully discover what your vision is and how you were able to put your passion into actions and potentially make it something bigger.
Great. So last but not least, service. There are a lot of opportunities that you can participate in terms of service and volunteering. The Hawkeye Service Teams is a course now. Take groups of students to different places in the US during spring break to learn more about service and also serve that community. Volunteer Fair will connect community service sites with students who are interested in serving the local community. There are also service-focused organizations and also programs that students can get involved in. Mia and Mishma, do you mind sharing a little bit of your experience in this area?
I would go back to what I said earlier about volunteering with the Iowa Youth Writing Project, but there's also a lot of other volunteer opportunities. I myself have never been on alternative spring break, but I know a lot of people who have gone and who have just had the most fulfilling experiences ever. And there's also a volunteer fair. So the fair will give you the opportunities for volunteering, and you can volunteer with your major, your department. So that's mostly related to academic related volunteering, but you can always just volunteer with like service and philanthropy. But one of my favorite things is that most student organizations do have a service part in them, even if that's not their focus. So for example, I'm part of the South Asian Student Alliance, and we have a philanthropy director, and part of the student organization works on community service, even though that's not the major focus of the student organization. So we help out with shelters, we help out with the children's hospital, we even help out with cleaning up with like the football programming. So there's always opportunities to volunteer, even with through student organizations that are not specifically service centered as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think especially for student organizations, goodness, this is early. No, not early for us. But actually, there are a lot of student organization opportunities in terms of like fundraising, service, and philanthropy. I'm involved with the Student Advancement Network, which is like a network of students who interact with alumni of the university and to really help the university fundraise. And it's like truly wonderful to be able to become a part of the philanthropy here on campus, and it's a really exciting experience to be able to involve more students and tell them what philanthropy is and how you can potentially give back to the university. It's just like a very fulfilling experience. I absolutely agree, because it really makes you feel fulfilled as a person because you're giving back to the university.
We have spent quite a bit of time having you share about your experiences and different types of involvement on campus. I want to bring these back to talk more about how did you get started? Why did you become interested in getting involved? How did you manage your time? And how has that involvement helped you adjust and learn about the US and the University of Iowa culture? So we will end with this discussion before we go into the Q&A. Would anyone want to start?
Yeah, I can go ahead and get started. The question of how I got involved is a little bit of a loop for me, because my first 2 years here, I didn't really feel like getting involved, and I tried different things, but I just didn't find the right thing for me. And then my junior year, I finally got involved more through the athletics department and got my hands on stuff, and I realized how fulfilling it was to me. And I think that was the point when I was old and mature enough to realize how much it means to me and to the people I'm getting involved with to get involved. And it was something that I found very fulfilling, and I had a lot of joy doing so. How did being involved help adjusting about the US and University of Iowa culture? It helped a very big deal. I had to realize after I got involved, because sometimes as an international student, you find yourself feeling lonely and not knowing who to talk to and who to address with issues. But once you get involved, you get to meet so many people, and within all the people you meet, you will sooner or later find somebody who you can rely on and trust fully, and that helped a great deal to me.
I would personally say that being involved on campus helped my transition from school to campus, also from one country to another, very easy, because I was very involved in school and I wanted the same atmosphere in college, just so I feel like it is the same. And that's what happened, because after I became very involved on campus, it almost felt like it was just the same, that there's nothing very much different about being in college. It didn't seem that scary anymore. And it's also very easy to find opportunities, because I mean, I guess by now or in a few weeks' time, you'll start getting a lot of emails from the university. And at one point, you'll be tired of all the emails, but there'll be all these emails about various student organizations pitching you about what their student org is about, so you get an idea of like what they are. But even after you come on campus, there will be a student organization fair, and there'll be a lot of booths with different student organizations, so you can just walk around and pick what you want. But that's like just when you come in, but you can also still keep on adding or like dropping student orgs as you go, as you get a better understanding of what you really want to do. And I think being involved really helped me personally to adjust, because like Kenneth said, you meet a lot of people, you make a lot of friends, and it makes you feel like you belong here. And also you'd be able to find new interests that you probably never knew about yourself, because that's not the things that you focused on back in school. So you'd be probably able to rediscover things about yourself. And I would always tell everyone to pick one student org that makes you challenge yourself, that's not part of who you are. For me, that was a homecoming council. It's based on football. I still have no idea how Americans play football. It's very different. I just cheer when people cheer, but I still have no idea what's happening. But that was one student org that I told myself that I'm going to challenge myself with, because it's not something that I'm very used to, but I love it now because it's making me learn new things. So while you pick student orgs that speaks to you, that's for you, also just try out things that seem very, very weird or very interesting, but you might actually end up loving it.
Wow. Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's really a growth process too. You learn a lot and you discover who you are on the way, and you really kind of realize who you can get along the most with, or like which organization is your most favorite, and also which ones are those ones helps you grow and helps you explore yourself. And I'll talk a little bit about like managing my time, because my freshman year I was very adventurous, and I was involved in a lot of student organizations, and I have to like pay attention to my classes as well. And I think it's really important to realize what's most important to you, and then to kind of prioritize what's the most important task. For example, if you want to focus more on school, then like schoolwork is always my top priority, and I'll finish all of my assignments before I get involved with the activities. But sometimes like if there are some really great and wonderful activities, like if I help plan an event for my student organizations, or if I help like coordinate a trip to like a different city, then that's more time consuming, and that's more like prioritizing in terms of like time sensitivity. So I think it's really kind of figure out what works the best for you, and using the calendar. I now live on my calendar, cannot live without my calendar. So yeah, absolutely.
So Emily have to go early to go to class. So I'm going to share her response. So as someone who's taking 27 semester hours, there's a lot of classes. So definitely time management is really important to her. She dedicated her evening to homework, stay up late sometimes, try to do a lot of homework over weekend and try not to procrastinate. She mostly wrote all her homework projects essays down in the planner, and honestly, and she never really skipped any classes the entire semester. And I guess one thing that helped her is that she also read all the books for one of her classes over the winter break, so that instead of reading everything for the first time for class, she was rereading it, which make things a lot easier. If you are planning on taking a lot of classes, make sure that you have everything in eye, so that you are able to manage your time well. And then she was also in a lot of performances because she liked to be busy and be challenged. And then it is her belief that you should get involved in what you want to be involved in, because that will make it more fun. And then involvements really are the places that you can make closest friends. People get involved because they want to be, and then 3 of the people on the literary magazine team were in her classes as well. So don't be afraid to try out for things, and no matter how scary they seem.
And then I just want to ask just the final question to make sure everyone has the opportunity to share. Do you have any words of advice for future international students at the University of Iowa?
I would say get involved, but don't rush it. You have plenty of time to try different things, and if you get involved with something that isn't a good fit for you, then don't be afraid to leave that opportunity behind and look for the next opportunity to get involved.
Yeah, I would say know your limits because a lot of times I think everyone has their own definition of success. And when you first come to university, you're very adventurous and maybe like you just want to try out everything and really wants to like be as high achieving as possible, which is always like a really positive mindset. But at the same time, self-care is also important, especially in the university when you're taking classes, and it really does not help when you're burned out at one moment and you kind of like fall behind. So I think although being really involved and adventurous is really a great point, but at the same time, like know your limits and know what you are really passionate about.
And I would say your 4 years of being here, or how many years you're planning to be here, is all about how you make it. So it's just a matter of what you want to pick. You can always try out very different things throughout the whole of the time you're here. You can try one student talk per semester even. It's all up to you. And definitely never compare yourself to anyone else, because like Mia said, it's all about you and your success and your plan. It's like no one's going to have the same academic life or the same student talk life as you. So it's all about you. So pick the things that you really want to do and feel free to both push yourself to do things that you think you couldn't do, but also don't hesitate to step back and say, okay, this is it. Yeah. It's all about you, and make sure that you put yourself first.
Yes, from Emily, she said that don't be afraid to try. And otherwise you probably won't be able to get into experiences that you would never thought that you would be able to get in. And then don't be afraid to put yourself out there and try for things that you want. University is all about taking risks and being brave in the best way possible.
I really wanted to add one more thing, because I was talking to one of my residents who is a first-year student, and he was sharing with me that he'll never have a second freshman year again. And it's kind of like an interesting concept to think about, because like every year of college is so unique. So it's really like whatever you make out of it. But like also like it's true, you only have 1 year of like your freshman year and 1 year of your sophomore year. So like make it unique and really about yourself.